Your Google Calendar is a great way for you to get yourself organized, and you can add things to it that are not necessarily related to your schoolwork that your teachers have assigned. Maybe you have other things going on in your life, or maybe you need to plan things out, or maybe your teacher doesn't use Google Classroom, so you need to add your assignments that way. Adding your own stuff to your Google Calendar is a very simple task. So let's say on Thursday, the 7th, I have lacrosse practice at 3 o'clock. So I come to Thursday 7, 3 o'clock, and I click. Now, if I click once, I get what's called like a small form. I don't feel like this gives me enough options and opportunities, so I like to go to more options where it opens up a full form. So here, this is where I will have lacrosse practice. It is from 3 to 4. If I wanted to, I could actually put a location. So this is at the junior high field. And then this is what I love. So I can decide how far in advance I want to be notified about this lacrosse practice. Maybe I want to be notified a half an hour before it happens. So then that way I don't forget and just get on the bus. Maybe I need to actually be reminded a full day before it happens. So I remember to put my cleats into my bag. Maybe I need to have multiple reminders. So I want to be reminded 30 minutes before, but I also want to be reminded one day before so that I remember to put my cleats in my bag. I can also choose a color. So I'm going to go with green because green is grass, lacrosse, it makes sense to me. If I wanted to down here, I can add a description for myself. This is not necessarily something that you're probably going to need to do, but if you need those extra details, you can go ahead and put them in there. So then I go ahead and I save this, and you'll see that now it showed up on my calendar here. What's even better is, let's say I have lacrosse practice every day after school. I'm going to click on this once. I'm going to hit this edit button so that it takes me in and it gives me more choices. So this lacrosse practice is actually going to repeat, and I'm going to have it repeat every weekday, Monday to Friday. Now, I don't know, that's probably going to keep repeating forever. So I want to be specific. So I'm going to go into where it says custom. And this time I'm going to say it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from now until lacrosse season ends on June 1st. And I go ahead and I add it to my calendar. Save it again. So now you'll see lacrosse practice starts showing up right here, right here. If I go into next week, there it is. If I back out and I do a month view, you'll see my lacrosse practice shows up. If I go into February, March, and so on and so forth until I get to June 1st. And then you'll see I no longer have lacrosse practice. Now let's say I go out for my very first lacrosse practice, I twist my ankle, my lacrosse season is over, and I want to remove these from my calendar. So I come to the very first one, I click on the pencil to edit, or I think it's just easier to hit the garbage can. When I hit the garbage can, it's going to ask me exactly what I want to delete. So I'm going to delete this and all of the events, and it's going to remove it from my calendar. If I had, let's say, a project that's going to be due on the 22nd, I click 22nd. This is my social studies project. It's due on February 22nd. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a time. I don't want it to be an all-day thing because I have it second bell, so I'm going to say 8:30. I know second bell is like 8:44. Now, this is where I want to use this down here. What's really cool is if I want to put my materials in here that I need to work on, if I click on this attachment right here, it allows me to go right into my Google Drive. I'm just going to add this one right here, select it. And now it's actually tied to my calendar event. So if I need to go back in there and I want to work on that project, I can, and I don't need to go find it in my drive. I just go to calendar and I can click on it from there. Again, I can set myself notifications. So because I know I'm going to probably forget about this, I want to be reminded, let's go with 5 days before. And then I want to remind it again 3 days before. And then I want to be reminded again 1 day before, so that I make sure that I do it. Now, let's say that the social studies project was actually a group project. I can invite someone. So I'm going to invite Mrs. Henry. I click save. It's going to ask me if I want to send an invitation. I go ahead and I send it. I'm not actually going to send it because then she'll be confused about why it's on her calendar. When I save this, you'll see now it shows up on my calendar. When I click on the event, oh, look at that. There it is. I can go right into it. I have access to it. I can make any changes that I need to. So your calendar is a very powerful tool. And once you get control of it and harness it, I think you'll be really finding that you no longer forget things that are important.